Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the RotoBaller Radio Fantasy Baseball Preview Series. I'm your host, Anthony Aniano. Happy to be with you here today as we take a look at some ADP value and sleeper plays at the outfield position. Don't forget, everybody, head over to RotoBaller.com now and check out everything we have there. The main page, the premium package, the expert chats, you name it, RotoBaller.com has it for you. Whether it's football, baseball, basketball, MMA, esports, NASCAR, PGA, or sports betting, season-long or DFS formats, RotoBaller.com, the place to be. And don't forget, sign up right now for the Major League Baseball Premium Pass using the promotional code ACES. Save yourself an additional 10% and get access to our draft guide, our sortable rankings, our premium Slack chat, as well as our lineup optimizers. Okay, download the app right now, available on your cell phone app store, and take advantage of all the great content courtesy of RotoBaller.com and RotoBaller Radio. And I wanted to also talk to you today about the MLB RotoBaller Challenge, hosted by our friends at Fantrax. Fantrax is the most customizable free fantasy baseball platform in the industry, and that's why we're hosting our 2022 RotoBaller Challenge there. If you want the greatest fantasy experience, sign up for a free RotoBaller Challenge team today. All leagues are free to join, and you get to compete against RotoBaller writers and readers for a shot at the $500 cash grand prize. All new Fantrax users also get entered into a free giveaway to win a signed official MLB Wander Franco jersey. Go to rotoballer.com/challenge and sign up for your team today. All right, everybody. Hopefully you've been following along now as the season approaches. We got a little over a week, maybe a week and a half till opening day. And so far right here on the preview shows, we've covered the infield. First base, second base, shortstop, and third base. And looked at about 4 or 5 players at each position who I liked, disliked, overvalued, undervalued, sleepers, however you want to arrange it. All right, today we take a look at the outfield position. And I have 6 players, and maybe it's like my dream fantasy baseball outfield formation here based on the ADP and the round values these players all have. But these are players I like. They bring different skill sets. Some I'm concerned with. Some have some upside, however you want to look at it. But we start with the Hall of Famer. Retires today. He's a Hall of Famer. And that's Mike Trout of the Angels. Still only 30 years old, which I guess I knew, but at the same time surprised me a bit because it feels like Mike Trout's been around forever. His current NFBC, and I use that for my ADPs, his current NFBC ADP is at 13.7. So really in a 12-team league, he's the first pick, the second pick in round 2. And this was a player who was for years the first overall pick, and it really wasn't even up for debate. He's currently going as the 6th outfielder off the board. Now, last season, another shortened season due to injury. Okay, played in only 36 games last year. Still at 333. In an OBP league, he may be the best at 466. 8 homers, 18 RBIs, 23 runs scored. Strikeouts continue to tick up as he gets a little older. 28% last year. But the walk rate is ridiculous at 18.5%. Pitchers just don't want to pitch to him. Hard hit rate was still elite level, 52.6%. And he barreled up the ball 18%. All numbers that are extraordinary. The problem is the games. How many games does he give you at this point? Because we've seen him beat up. Now, part of the allure of Mike Trout when he was that first or second overall pick was, in his day, his ability to steal a base. And it just does not happen anymore. He's only got 3 stolen bases now in his last 2 seasons. He just doesn't run. So he's a pure high average power play. He's 300 plus. Okay, his on-base percentage is off the charts. And he's 3,000 in his sleep. That's where the power plays. Okay, in 2019, okay, before the 2020 COVID season, 45 homers, 104 RBIs, 291. I mean, who wouldn't sign up for that? Okay, he's a career 419 on base percentage, a career 305 hitter. Okay, the problem is he hasn't played in 150 games. Let's call it a full season, 150 games since 2016. There has been something in 17, 18, 19, exclude 2020 because it was the shortened COVID season. So 17, 18, 19, and 2021, he couldn't hit the 150-game plateau. Seems to have a spot on the DL every year. Now, it hasn't really affected his overall numbers. His numbers have still been elite level stuff. However, the legs do concern me a bit as they continue to nag him throughout this portion of his career. So you're getting him in early round 2. I'm not against it, but now you're rolling into, in that spot in the draft, the starting pitcher run. The Max Scherzers, the Corbin Burns, the Brandon Woodruffs, the Walker Buehlers will also be there for you at that point. So it's a tough decision to make. Do you take the ace? Do you take arguably the best hitter in baseball who does have some injury red flags? Second outfielder on the list, J.D. Martinez of the Boston Red Sox. 34 years old, continues to be one of the centerpieces of that Red Sox offense. Now, he is going, and this surprised me, I thought he'd go earlier than this, in the NFBC as pick 87.9. It's round 7, round 8 in a 12-team league. Outfielder 23. Now, last season, he rebounded, okay? 2 seasons ago, the shortened COVID season, he only hit .213. People were writing the obituary. Rebounds last year, great season for the Red Sox, with a .286 batting average and a .349 on-base percentage, and the power plays. 28 homers, 99 RBIs, 92 runs scored. Strikeout rate's terrific for a guy with that type of power profile at only 23.7% of the time. Walk 8.7%. Hard hit rate's elite level stuff, 49.3% of the time. Literally half the time he hits the ball, he hits it hard. Okay? And barrels up 12.4%. He has hit 25 or more home runs 6 of the last 7 seasons, not including that 2020 shortened COVID season. So the power has always been there. He's a career .290 hitter with a .353 on base percentage. And 4 out of the 6 last full seasons, he has driven in 100 or more RBIs. Last year, missing out with 99. Okay, the production continues to be elite level production. Still relatively young, especially for a guy who's going to primarily DH at 34 years old, but does have enough eligibility in the outfield to be that for you in your fantasy leagues. J.D. Martinez in round 7-8. So now just picture it, building your outfield. You pop up with Mike Trout in round the 13th at the end of round 1, early round 2. You come back around round 7, round 8, after filling in some infield, adding some starting pitching, whatever you want to do. And now you pair Mike Trout with J.D. Martinez in round 7, round 8. Okay, you're looking at, if you get the health you dream of, you're looking at 60 home runs and 200 plus RBIs right there with your first 2 outfielders. All right, outfielder number 3 I wanted to mention, Trent Grisham of the San Diego Padres. The youngest outfielder on my list, 25 years old. ADP, NFBC ADP is 140.35. He's going at, that's round 11, round 12. Now skip ahead 4 rounds. Trent Grisham is going as outfielder number 38. And now we start adding a little speed into our outfield mix. We're not getting Alberto Mondesi level stolen bases, but we chip away and remain middle of the pack. If anybody's watched any of my shows here, I'm not interested in finishing first in stolen bases. I'm not building my team around speed. What I am doing is trying to get middle of the pack in stolen bases and add power, RBIs, batting average, or on base percentage, whatever the format is. Now, Trent Grisham, 242 last year with a 327 OBP. 15 homers, 13 steals. He's a double-double player, and I love that type of player as I get into the teen rounds of my draft. Drove in 62 runs, scored 61 runs, 13 stolen bases to go with the 15 home runs. Doesn't strike out a lot, just over 22% of the time, and does draw walks at over 10% last year. Hard hit rate, 6 out of about 36% of the time, and barrels the ball only 5%, but barrels it enough to give you those 15 homers, gets on base enough to steal you double-digit stolen bases. He's got double-double the last 2 seasons. And when I say double-double, again, that's homers, stolen bases. He's double-digited both of the last 2 seasons, and one of those seasons was that shortened COVID season with a 10-homer, 10 stolen base season in 59 games. You spread that out over the season, he's giving you a 2020 year. In that COVID year is Trent Grisham. He's the center fielder for the Padres. He's still 25 years old, so there's room to grow. And I think he's a safe bet for 15 homers, 15 stolen bases, with the potential for a 2020 type of season, and you're getting him on average in rounds 11 and 12. My next outfielder, Harrison Bader. I guess the forgotten outfielder with Dylan Carlson and Tyler O'Neill around him in St. Louis. Bader, at 27 years old, is the Cardinals' center fielder. His current ADP is 234.4. Round 19, round 20, and I've gobbled him up everywhere I could. TGFBI, Tout Draft and Hold. If I could get Harrison Bader in round 20, I consider that a winning pick for myself. Currently going as outfielder number 62. Last season hit 267 with a 324 on base percentage. A very similar profile to Trent Grisham. Okay, 50 RBIs, 45 runs scored, 16 homers, 9 stolen bases. Misses that double-double by 1 steal. Doesn't strike out a lot, about 21% of the time. Doesn't walk as much as I would like, just under 7%. Hard hit rate over 30%, and barrels about 7% of the time. Now, he's never gotten 500 plate appearances, but it seems to be this will be the year he gets it, as he last year kind of cemented his role as the Cardinals center fielder. That new young outfield of the Cardinals is very exciting to watch. Okay, his strikeout rate has dropped from 32% to 21% last year, taking him more mature at the plate. Okay, double-double already twice in his career, been in the league 3 years. He's double-double twice, just missed it last year with the 9 stolen bases. So again, you pair him, you can do one of two things. You can pair him with Trent Grisham as your 4th and 5th outfielders and say at the end of the year, these two players are going to combine anywhere for 30 to 40 homers and 30 to 40 stolen bases. Okay? Or one of them could be that final piece, just enough steals, just enough power to work his way into your lineup every week and give you the power stolen base combination that we often look for in our fantasy players. Okay, next player, Mike Yastrzemski of the San Francisco Giants. Value has plummeted coming off a down year last year, but there are numbers I like and reason for hope in an upside. Now, 31 years old, older than a lot of the players here, but with less experience, only been in the league for 3 seasons. His current ADP sits at 279.9, basically the 280th player picked in draft. Rounds 23, 24, outfielder number 74. Last season, disappointing. He hit 224, but I want to talk about that for a minute. Even with, though, that 224 batting average, he still put up decent power numbers with 25 homers, 71 RBIs, and 75 runs scored, mixed in 4 stolen bases. Didn't strike out an overabundance, just under 25% of the time, and walk rate was decent, just under 10%. Hard hit rate was at 39%, and he barreled the ball over 10% of the time. But there's something that we need to discuss with the batting average. In 2019, he hit 272 with 21 home runs in 107 games. And his batting average on balls in play was 325. In the shortened 2020 season, he hit 297. Now, this is in only 54 games. He hit 297 with 10 home runs. So he was on pace for a career high in batting average and a career high in home runs. He would have hit over 21 home runs. He would have had a terrific second year. Batting average in balls in play was astronomical that year at 370. Now, last season, the power remained 25 home runs for the Giants in 139 games. Batting average took a hit. It was only at 224. But that batting average on balls in play nosedived last year to only 254. If he gets that batting average on balls in play, if he gets that better luck that he had in years past, and that BABIP goes up, it doesn't even have to go up to the 325 or the 370 of the 2 years prior. If it even just approaches 300, that 224 batting average is now on the right side of 250, approaching 260, 270, with a power profile that still profiles, I keep using that word, at over 20 home runs, 25 home runs, and 70 plus RBIs. And you're getting that 25 homers, 75 RBI season in round 23, 24, essentially the last or second to last round of your draft, depending on format. You're getting him as outfielder 74. That's your 5th outfielder, potentially. There's a lot of production to be had there in that spot. And my final outfielder I wanted to mention, I wasn't going to mention him until the trade, but that's Randall Grichuk, now of the Colorado Rockies. Okay, 30 years old, same age as Mike Trout, younger than Yastrzemski. Okay, his current ADP, and I think it's going to rise, maybe even by the time you watch this, is 386.9, 387th player taking. Round 32. So in some leagues, he's undrafted. He's floating around on the waiver wire if you already drafted him. He's going as outfielder number 91. Just traded by the Blue Jays to the Rockies for Ramil Tapia in a speed power move. And listen, you put a power bat in Colorado, everybody's going to pay attention to that. Now, not much of a batting average. 241 last year. He's a 245 career hitter. And not a great on-base guy, right? 281. It's a terrible number when you're only getting on base 28% of the time. Last season, though, for Toronto, 22 home runs, 81 RBIs, 59 runs scored. Doesn't steal any bases. Really cut down the strikeout rate, too. Just under 21% of the time last year. Doesn't draw a lot of walks either. Only 5% last year. Now, he hits the ball hard. 41% of the time. Okay, that's the third highest on the list behind Trout and J.D. Martinez today. Barrels the ball 8.5% of the time. Now, he has hit 20 or more home runs 5 of the last 6 seasons since 2016. And in that shortened 2020 season, in 55 games, he hit 12. So again, he'd be 6 out of 6 if Major League Baseball played a full year that year. Okay, last season, he set a career-high low in strikeout rate. And newsflash, he is now playing in Colorado. Okay, he's got 30 or more home runs once in his career. I'd be shocked if this season wasn't year number 2 for Randall Grichuk to have 30-plus home runs and potentially 80 to 90 RBIs. It's a terrific spot for a player like him. Now, OBP League is going to drain you. His batting average is never going to be great. He's not going to steal runs. But round 32, or the waiver wire, he is just a pure power play, 30 or more home runs in Colorado. Sign me up as a bench outfielder, as a waiver wire ad, okay, in the 32nd round of a 12-team draft. All right, everybody, don't forget, follow on Twitter at Aniano Fantasy. Make sure you like and subscribe right here to the RotoBaller YouTube channel and check out all the great content on RotoBaller's YouTube channel and head over to rotoballer.com as well. Sign up for that MLB Premium Pass and use that promo code ACES. You're telling them I sent you, and by doing that, you're saving yourself an extra 10% at checkout. All right, stay smart, stay safe, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one, folks.